People, they're putting smut on our guy Yami Sukehiro's name. They spreading false narratives on our bro, the man himself. After the last few chapters of Black Clover, people have been spreading a lot of nastiness on our guy, but also even more so, I've been hearing the streets been murmuring. They've been saying some things. They've been talking wild, reckless about Black Clover yet again. This time, once again, bringing forth allegations of Black Clover copied off of Naruto again. Oh my god. Which is kind of crazy how throughout Black Clover's run, it's been accused of copying off of Naruto and a couple other series, but in particular Naruto, despite the fact it was mainly using commonly used tropes that, yeah, you could throw the argument that Naruto had those mainly attached to them, but every time there was a trope that was thrown forth in Black Clover that was similar to Naruto, one of the things that you can't deny is that it subverted the outcome that Naruto would use and went in its own direction. For example, one of the big things off rip of the beginning of the series is you have basically Asta, Yuno, Naruto, and Sasuke, and then you got the Wizard King that is a statue that he defeated the big monster years ago, whatever, similar to the fourth Hokage defeating Kurama, and a lot of people for the longest time is like, oh, it's clear as day, the Wizard King, the first Wizard King was Asta's father, and something happened there, and it's gonna be just like Minato and Naruto. Only to find out that Lumiere wasn't related to any of them at all. He was actually just a guy that was a Wizard King and fought a demon, but it had nothing to do with Asta and Yuno. There's been, again, multiple examples throughout Black Clover's history of, again, it having similar concepts, similar ideas of Naruto, but the execution would be vastly different. However, fans of Black Clover, or you could throw the argument haters, or people that just want to start some stuff in general, have been saying that now, with this new revelation about Yami and his family, the Yami clan and his peoples back at the land of the rising sun, that pretty much Yami is a ripoff of Itachi, because in case you don't know, Itachi and Naruto slaughtered his whole clan. It was a whole political disaster. He got away, and boom, we find out that Itachi was a good guy. And with the latest few chapters, the revelation, thanks to Yami's sister Ichika, it seems as though Yami bodied the entire Yami clan, and it's kind of weird to refer to him as Yami when we're talking about the clan, but realistically we should be calling him Sukehiro. Either way, essentially a lot of people are saying that, yo, that's a ripoff of Itachi. What Yami did is a ripoff. But for starters, as of the recording of this video, I believe we're 343 chapters deep into Black Clover, and we still don't have the explanation as to what happened. Essentially, ever since Asta got to the land of the rising sun, we know that guy Ryuya, and we know that he has his 7 vassals, so to speak, kind of similar to Wano with the scabbards and all of that stuff. But it's pretty much been that we've only got that, hey, supposedly according to Ichika, Yami massacred the clan and then went off on a boat and was never seen again. And I'm going to throw the argument that there's more to the story than meets the eye to even assume immediately that Black Clover is doing the whole Itachi situation, on top of the fact that most people are forgetting that usually Black Clover, similar to every other instance where there was a trope that was similar to another franchise, it'll take the trope and then spin it on its head and do its own thing. So I'm gonna guess 100,000% that there's way more to Yami's story with his family, with him leaving in general on that boat, because let's not forget that Yami's a bit of a dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many chapters it took? Hundreds of chapters for him to realize, yo dog, Charlotte kind of likes you, and even then right now he's still stewing on how to react to that situation in general. Yami is definitely a bit of a klutz, and even more so I'd imagine he would have been when he was younger. So when he got to, for example, the Clover Kingdom, he was probably even a little bit confused to a certain degree on what was going on, and even more so, of course, throwing the theory in there that Ryuya had something to do with all of this. I'm still going to throw the idea that Ryuya is basically the Orochi of the land of the rising sun, and he's playing everyone like a fiddle, but there there's even a little bit more context and a big differentiating factor between what Black Clover did with Yami and his past and whatnot, and the whole Naruto Itachi situation with the Uchiha. Because, for example, one of the big things with the Uchiha was that, you know, the father of Sasuke and Itachi, he just really wanted his boys to be great. He had high expectations for Itachi. Maybe you could throw the argument he didn't give enough attention to Sasuke, which used to make him sad, but nevertheless, he was just a proud father that went really hard. However, over here, based on what we've seen thus far with Ichika, Yami, and his clan and whatnot, is the fact that Yami's father was a drunken, abusive piece of garbage. So much so to the point where there was often times that he had to come in and defend his little sister Ichika from their father. Like, you know, he was one time gonna hit her and he basically came in and blocked. So you could throw the argument already there was different situations, different circumstances between the two. Yami was a good dude protecting his sister. Itachi was, yeah, a good dude protecting his brother, but not necessarily from the clan itself, but more so from what would happen after whatever the clan was trying to accomplish. We still don't know anything about the Yami clan, like if they had some sort of idea of, we're gonna overthrow the government that we have here. We don't have all of the facts to even go down that route yet, and it's just really a shame that most of the time, whenever there's something similar to another series that Black Clover is doing, people automatically go with, it's ripping it off, it's ripping it off, not even giving it time to demonstrate, like, no, this is what's actually going on. No, we twisted it on the side of his head. It's not the same thing. You know, they said the same thing back in the day about Patri and the whole Obito and Madara situation. And no, it was a spirit and something totally different as well. It's like people usually just want to go and revert back to the same scenario with Black Clover. And I feel like to a certain degree, sometimes it just feels unfair. It just feels unfair because there's so many instances of other series doing similar quote-unquote offenses that Black Clover does, but they never get the same type of backlash. I mean, for crying out loud, to this day, 2022, November, people are still calling out and saying, yo, Asta yelled too much in the Black Clover anime. That's why I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't deal with his constant yelling and all of that stuff. But they will go and they will watch from start to finish My Hero Academia with Bakugo screaming up a storm and being nothing but a nasty jerk to Deku. And it's like, okay, I've seen some arguments of, hey, Asta was real nasally or whatever. It doesn't defeat the point of, yo, dog, like I'm watching some early episodes of My Hero Academia the other day, and we got Bakugo that is just an irredeemable piece of crap when it comes to Deku and constantly screaming. Even in the latest episode, I just saw and I caught up with the My Hero Academia anime, the latest episodes, and Bakugo is still yelling. But that's okay, and people don't call it out, and people will make excuses. Well, he's not the main character, even though he's the co-main character, and he's the most popular character of My Hero Academia, hence everybody loves him the most. So they're cool with, as long as you're not the main character, you can't be loud. And also, despite the fact that Asta cooled out after a handful of episodes in the very beginning of the anime with the whole yelling shit, Bakugo, we're 118 episodes deep into My Hero, 120, however many, and he's still yelling. So it feels like Black Clover always just gets the short end of the stick. It feels like anime and manga fandom, shonen fandom alike, usually just like to not give Black Clover the pass or the benefit of the doubt, but carry on with like, hey, it's copying off of this one. It's doing this bad. When honestly, this is one of the most exciting arcs of Black Clover right now. We're in foreign lands where Asta is getting his butt handed to him, trying to train to understand this Yojutsu. It's like so many really cool things going on. Training with Ichika, finding out that there's different techniques other than just the magic that we've seen in the Clover Kingdom. I mean, for crying out loud, we got one of the big threats showing up already to this whole freaking land of the rising sun, and we've only been training for a few chapters. Like, it is going in awesome directions. It's not like even it's a whole thing of, you know, Yami and Ichika are like the stars of it, similar to Sasuke and Itachi. It's just its own thing and using similar or familiar tropes, but I guarantee you Black Clover will take it a whole other way. It already has. Again, Yami's father was an abusive piece of shit. He was helping his sister, and we don't know all of the details as to what happened that fateful night where Yami left after his family being massacred. For all we know, he could have heard something totally different, happened to see somebody there, had to stab one person from attacking him, and next thing you know, hey, he's blamed for the Yami clan massacre. And then we got Ryuya there like, yo, dog, just get on the boat, Papi. Go ahead, go away, come on, before they blame you. Or, yo, dog, anything could have happened, especially considering this guy is the know-all, see-all. How can we trust that he knows all and sees all when it's possibly to his benefit? But in general, I had to call this one out. I didn't really like seeing some of the slander on my guy Yami Sukehiro's name, especially considering y'all trying to say he's ripping off greatness with Itachi. No. Black Clover is using that as inspiration and creating its own recipe of greatness, and I'm 100,000% here for it. It's freaking awesome. I can't wait. Curious what you guys think. How is this whole thing gonna go on in terms of Yami and the whole massacre of his clan or whatnot? You think he legitimately did it? If so, what do you think is the reasoning behind it? And your thoughts on this Ryuya guy. Do you think that he is pretty much the one that manipulated that whole and orchestrated that whole situation that fateful night? And do you think that Black Clover is ripping off Naruto right now? And is there any credence or validity to what people have been saying all these years of Black Clover ripping off this one and that one, when it always just takes the trope and spins it around and does his own thing with it? So all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.